Yeah, must be coke brain here. Use a piece of charcoal. Anyway, so come on, fellas. Okay, so we have ourselves a pot, basically. Now the idea is you're probably going to need a layer at the bottom of sand. If I can put sand in there. That's to act as a perched water table. It probably doesn't have to be sand, but we want it to be somewhat sealed off, but also drain well sort of thing. So that's going to be sand in there. We can see that. And above that, we probably want a layer of newspaper sailors, but we don't know whether we want it to be sort of slumped in there like that, so we can have an area there we can fill up with sand. So this newspaper cellulose can also have little bits of polystyrene in there, which generates reductive flammable gas when wet, you see. And then, of course, that reductive flammable gas is going to react with any oxygen there and turn into water, of course. And once it's just water there, you know, it's not going to be aerated, because you've actually taken the air out to make it, sort of thing, in a way. So this will become anaerobic, and therefore, strangely enough, should be attacked by trichoderma, which is supposed to be a fungus, and fungus is supposed to be aerobic organisms, so maybe it's microaerophilic sort of thing. So it should be attacked and go that sort of dark, sagey green sort of thing. But then again, that might be photo dependent, we don't know. But anyway, so this is like a sugar source, so it attacks there, and in the process, attacking the sugar, because it's a brown rot fungus, because that's a white wood, you see. Brown rot attacks the white wood. Yeah, it's like flammable and inflammable, you know. It does get very confusing. So yeah, and then if we extend the pot up here, we can fill this with sand. So we got more sand in here again. So this is newspaper NPC, newspaper cellulose. Okay, so we've got sand there, and this is quartzite sand. It's the same as this sort of thing down the bottom. So the reason you want this, you want a perched water table, because not only does it keep this wetter for twice as long, or double the wetness, because it takes twice as long to get to lose its wetness sort of thing due to this perched water table. And you might want to play around with doing shapes on there as well, rolling things, because it's basically where you got contact is where you're going to get the flowage, basically. So if you can change that contact area, you can actually probably improve on that, make the perched water table a little bit better. So anyway, so what was I saying? So we've got the sand here, and so this zone is for where you want the roots to go in here, you see, because I don't think the roots can handle. I don't think it's the fact that it's anaerobic. I think it's more the fact that it's too wet, sort of thing, and they've got to absorb things, you see, through the long persistent root hairs, you see, that they talk about in these things. When as I said, when a biologist emphasises long and persistent root hairs after going through early biology classes using peas and beans, that really does mean something. Okay, that is really long and really persistent, Okay, right. Okay, so we've got the sand. Now we want to put a layer of the top, you see. Now we want this to be a brown wood. Yeah, brown, so it can be peat. Brown. Well, brown wood. Probably has different connotations in America. Yeah, under brown wood, yeah, not under milk wood. There's under milk wood. Yeah, we got brown wood there. Now that's probably hemicellulose, and it's either like peat, bark chips, which we're getting good. That's I assume it's a nitrogen source, so that gets attacked by a white rot fungus and breaks down, releasing nitrogen. So you've got nitrogen basically going down this way, and from here we get a brown rot fungus attacking the white. As a white rot fungus attacks the brown, and we got the brown rot fungus attacks the white wood or heartwood of a tree, sort of thing, like the newspaper cellulose. In the process, this fixes nitrogen in the atmosphere, and then that nitrogen's going to come up into this sandy zone, and if it's in sunlight, it goes green, you see. You see, because the question I want to know is, are the two nitrogen sources the same, or are they different? And to get the plant to grow properly, do you need both forms of nitrogen there? And do they transform into other forms? You know, you can have things like cyanide and things like that. I don't know. They do talk about soils like this having building up of. You can have soils that actually build up in. Well, if you put cyanide on a soil, over time you'll get organisms that build up that actually attack the cyanide sort of thing, and you can probably get into a stable, dynamic equilibrium situation sort of thing. But that takes many months to do that sort of thing, usually. On those sort of sites, that's how they get rid of cyanide. They build it up on a certain location sort of thing, and it takes a while. But once the microorganisms are in the soil, they can break it down very quickly. But it takes months to build up, you see. Again, a bit like some of these things, it takes, what's this? This one's taken like 2 months to get going, but now it's going. Suddenly we got confidence right across the lawn in about 2 days, 1 to 2 days sort of thing. But as I said, it's somewhat photographic sort of thing, the organism. But it's not the green of it, what you call an algae sort of thing. So I don't know, fellas. I'm going to have to do a lot more research. There's probably people out there who've got that sort of information at their fingertips. They're experts in their field, sort of thing. Anyway, so as I said, this is a white. It's not the right one for the top. So it keeps it cool. But also, it probably keeps it as the water goes through. It probably aerates the water, which is probably not what you want, because you want to make this zone anaerobic, you see. So basically you want some way of so maybe as I said, this is what this sand layer does. As you've kept it cool, but you've also goes through here. It's been aerated in that zone going through, but you've got to de-aerate it sort of thing. So maybe if we go back to all our void pot stuff in the past, there's some connection there. But this is the basic plan I'm going to try. I'm going to put a brown material up there. As I said, it looks like the best thing to use is composted bark chip, the orchid bark stuff, but I'm going to try coir first of all, because where is it? Coir here seems to do quite well and gives us a nice natural look sort of thing. Peat, I don't know, there's barely slight differences now with this. In the past I've always said that coir is worse than peat, but that's maybe because we didn't have an understanding, we didn't know what we were doing and how we should do it sort of thing. And I should really put this round in the sun, I think. Change the position of the pot so that the plants actually get more sun. So yeah. So we're trying to get to this stage where you get this green pot sort of situation, and it self-greens in a way. So, you know, and maybe there's a difference in the two forms of, at least 2 forms of nitrogen, maybe more. I don't know. You know, you start off with 2 different forms and they intermingle, and you may get a third or a fourth. I don't know, and that's why it's so difficult to grow these plants. But yeah, it's amazing. These things are actually reddened up, if that is a term. Can I get this in the sun? Can I get focus on it? Especially this one. Look at that. You can actually see that red there. I don't know if you can see that, but that's happened in 12 hours. And this tinging at the end there on that margin area of the leaf. I don't know if you can see that, but that tinging, that's also happened in 12 hours. It wasn't there last night, you know. So whether you're going to see more of that, I don't know. Over time, is that how they make the traps red before they send them out the back end of the greenhouse? I know, these commercial places, I mean. So anyway, I'm going to set up another pot, another bucket, and I'm going to try this. It's going to be newspapers. I don't know how I'm going to arrange it with. It's just going to be, it may be just easier to start off with, and just flat, easy, simple, you know, sand. Newspapers say there's more sand, brown material, bark chips, coir, peat, something else. I don't think it's going to be pine needles. We could be pine needles, I don't know. You want to try pine needles, but as I said, they seem to. I've got this horrible smell now with this thing. I don't think it's right. You don't get the horrible smell. You still got the nice fresh peat smell. you don't seem to get that horrible smell with coir, as far as I know. You do with this pot. You do with this pot over here, though. Maybe that's why it's a bit sluggish. But all the other plants seem to be healthy. But anyway, we'll see how we go. So, well, that's about it. So that's chalk versus mud maps versus wet finger diagrams, part B. Okay, over and out. See ya.